I'd like to call Larry Sikora up to say a few words. Larry and Joel have been friends for eternity, and I'll let Larry speak for me.
I don't want you to believe a word this man.
Speak to the two of us.
You know, I stand here and I look at this wall, this wonderful panorama of a career progression. It's a beautiful thing to look at, isn't it? Reminds me of something. Joe was my first boss. My first boss, that's right. He worked for Herman the grocer. He got 35 cents an hour. I used to work for him. He paid me a dime. Ask him. It's the truth. So it was clear to me that the man split the tips. It was all hot. Yeah, all big man. Took your time. His career was always guaranteed. Guaranteed he was. I remember one time we were walking down Avenue V in Brooklyn, and we see a beautiful big sign, house for sale, in front of somebody's house. He says, let's get this sign. We'll sell Kantorf's house. Absolutely. Why not? Kantorf was in Long Beach for the summer.
They sold my house.
Sure enough, I pick up the end of the sign. He was the leader. We walk on watch over to Kantorf's house. We put the sign in front of the house. Now we wait, okay? Easy enough. We break in the house. Mrs. Kantorf never locked her windows. You know, we walked in, made ourselves at home. Sure enough, the phone rings. The guy calls. Dobbin invites him over. He looks at the house. He says, I'll call you in a few days. He says, call me Wednesday night. Sure enough, Wednesday night, we break back into Kantorf's house. The phone rings. The guy makes an offer. Don says, that sounds very fair. The guy says, I'm coming back next week. I'm going to look at the house. I'm going to talk to you. We're going to make a deal. This is September, the summer's over. Kantorf comes home that weekend from Long Beach. The following week, the people show up to buy the house. This was not one of our better moments.
What really pissed me off is the son of a bitch wouldn't even give me any part of the profit.
I was willing. He didn't deserve him. I was willing. He's a beautiful guy. I love him. When we got married, my wife and Sandy, we went away on a honeymoon. We came home. He was living in the apartment. He had moved in there a week before. He stayed for a year. I'm not kidding you.
It's true. It's true.
You know, I look at Danny and I can't help but think, Danny. I'm going to tell you something you don't know, Danny. All right? An embarrassing moment in your life. He's going to admit to it now, Danny. Because I'm going to see to it finally justice is going to be done. Okay? Now we're kids, you understand, and we're not the best. And Mrs. Dobbin is saying to us, look at Marcia. She's gone with this wonderful boy, Danny.
Remember that
dream. He worked steady. With this resounding sound in our ear, they leave for Miami, and Dobbin immediately throws a party.
Oh, did we throw a party?
Complete with spirits and mirth. I must tell you, sometime during the evening, Mrs. Dobbin's revered dining room table somehow was broken off its base. The dining room table was second only in its reverence to the celebrated alabaster lamp, which you'll recall. Dobbin headed up the reclamation team for the table. We used chewing gum and toothpicks and rubber bands and whatever was at hand, and it stood.
My 2 hammers and a chisel.
Kantorf, remember your mother's stood. The table stood. Okay, now this was Thursday. Nobody would walk in the room because they were coming home Friday night, and Danny was coming for dinner, for shopping. Friday night. There he Dobbin in his suit there. Out idle. A man who was making it straight. Plus he had a beautiful broad. Everybody loved him. And he sits down at that table and he puts himself